the first question, and this is for the FDA panel. Sometimes minor changes are made to the method after validation. Is a partial validation acceptable, or a new complete validation is required? We know that for these type of studies, they have two components. One is the IVRT or the IVPT, and then there's also the bioanalytical part or the analytical part. So for the FDA experts on the panel, we'd like to ask, for the IVPT, IVRT components, what would you consider, what changes do you feel like necessitate full validation as compared to partial validation? Sam, Heron, please feel free to initiate the discussion.
Hi, Sam. This is Amanda. I can provide some initial thoughts on this.
Great. Go ahead, Amanda.
I mean, so the importance of conducting, proper method validation studies is to demonstrate that the method was optimized. And ideally, this is prior to validation studies. But of course, sometimes, minor changes need to be made. And as you said, for, an analytical method, yes, partial validation studies would be acceptable, maybe a method transfer or different instrument. For changes to the IVPT or IVRT method, I would say that it's a little more difficult to delineate. And I would say that whether or not a partial validation is acceptable maybe depends on the parameter and consideration of what the impact or consequence is of the change on the results and on the profiles. For example, maybe a change in sampling time, depending on where it falls in the profile, maybe it could be considered minor, for which a partial validation would be considered acceptable. Changes to receptor solution and membranes would most likely not be considered minor. And likewise, if a method is not suitably optimized and not able to demonstrate sensitivity, selectivity, specificity, for example, sometimes it's best to go back to optimize the method, and then in which case prudent to conduct a complete validation after further optimization. I will add that, it's important that the pivotal studies are conducted on suitably optimized methods when all relevant parameters of the method have been established. If there is a change made to the method, for example, in response to a deficiency letter, and you need to make a change to a parameter of the method, it is important that, that is validated prior to repeating the pivotal study. But I welcome my other colleagues to weigh in on this.